Part 1. The Rise of Winchester. The Winchester Repeating Arms Company was a prominent American manufacturer of repeating firearms and ammunition. The firm was established in 1866 by Oliver Winchester, a clothing manufacturer who had invested in the Volcanic Repeating Arms Company, a predecessor of Winchester. Oliver Winchester saw the potential of the lever-action rifle, a new type of firearm that could fire multiple rounds without reloading. He hired Benjamin Tyler Henry, an inventor who had developed the .44 Henry rimfire cartridge, a self-contained metallic round that could be used in the lever-action rifle. Henry also designed a new rifle based on the Volcanic, but with a larger caliber and a longer barrel. This became the Henry rifle of 1860, which was manufactured by the New Haven Arms Company, another predecessor of Winchester. The Henry rifle was a revolutionary weapon that gave its users an advantage over their enemies. It was used by some Union soldiers during the American Civil War, and by settlers and hunters in the American West. The Henry rifle was also popular among Native Americans, who called it the gun that shoots today and tomorrow. In 1866, Oliver Winchester reorganized the New Haven Arms Company as the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, and introduced a new model of lever-action rifle, the Model 1866, also known as the Yellow Boy because of its brass receiver. The Model 1866 improved on the Henry rifle by adding a loading gate on the side of the receiver and a wooden fore-end. The Model 1866 was chambered for the same .44 Henry cartridge as the Henry rifle. The Winchester Repeating Arms Company continued to innovate and produce new models of lever-action rifles, such as the Model 1873, the Model 1876, the Model 1886, and the Model 1894. These rifles were chambered for various cartridges, ranging from .22 to .50 caliber. The Winchester rifles were reliable, accurate, and fast-firing. They were widely used by cowboys, lawmen, outlaws, soldiers, hunters, and explorers. They were also exported to other countries and continents, such as Canada, Mexico, South America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. The Winchester rifles earned a reputation as the gun that won the West. Oliver Winchester married Jane Ellen Hope in 1834. They had 3 children, William Wirt Winchester, Hannah Jane Winchester, and Annie Party Winchester. William Wirt Winchester married Sarah Lockwood Party in 1862. They had 1 child, Annie Party Winchester, who died shortly after birth in 1866. Oliver Winchester died in December 1880. Leaving his fortune and his company to his son William Wirt Winchester. William Wirt Winchester became the president of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company and continued his father's legacy of producing high-quality firearms and ammunition. He also expanded the company's business into other fields, such as bicycles and roller skates. William Wirt Winchester died in March 1881 from tuberculosis. He left his fortune and his company to his widow Sarah Lockwood Party Winchester. Sarah Lockwood Party Winchester became one of the richest women in America. She inherited about $20 million, equivalent to about $550 million today, and a 50% stake in the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. She also received an income of about $1,000 per day, equivalent to about $27,000 today from the company's dividends. Sarah Lockwood Party Winchester was grief-stricken by the deaths of her husband and her daughter. She sought comfort in spiritualism, a popular movement that claimed to communicate with the dead through mediums and seances. She consulted a medium named Adam Coons, who claimed to channel her late husband's spirit. Coons told her that she was cursed by the spirits of all those who had been killed by the Winchester rifles, and that she had to appease them by building a house for them. He also told her that if she ever stopped building, she would die. Part 2. The Building of the House. Sarah Lockwood Party Winchester bought an unfinished farmhouse on 162 acres of land in San Jose, California, in 1884. She hired carpenters, plumbers, electricians, gardeners, and other workers to transform the farmhouse into a sprawling mansion. She also hired architects, but she did not follow their plans. Instead, she designed the house herself, based on her own whims and the guidance of the spirits. The construction of the house was continuous, day and night, for 38 years, until Sarah Winchester's death in 1922. The house grew to 7 stories high, with about 160 rooms, including 40 bedrooms, 2 ballrooms, 47 fireplaces, 17 chimneys, 10,000 panes of glass, 2 basements, and 3 elevators. The house also had many peculiar features, such as doors and stairs that led nowhere, windows that overlooked other rooms, skylights on the floors, secret passages, trap doors, spy holes, and a labyrinthine layout. The house was decorated with ornate woodwork, stained glass windows, Tiffany lamps, and expensive furnishings. Sarah Winchester claimed that she built the house to appease the spirits of those who had been killed by the Winchester rifles. She believed that the spirits guided her through seances, which she held every night in a special room called the Blue Room. She used a planchette, a device similar to a Ouija board, to communicate with the spirits and receive their instructions. She also used a 13-leaf clover as a symbol of protection and good luck. She incorporated the number 13 into many aspects of the house, such as having 13 windows in some rooms, 13 panels in some doors, 13 steps in some staircases, and 13 bathrooms. Sarah Winchester also built the house to express her interests and passions. She was fond of art, music, literature, history, and culture. She collected many books, paintings, sculptures, and artifacts from around the world. She had a grand piano, an organ, and a phonograph in her music room. She had a Shakespearean window that featured quotes from his plays. She had a stained glass window that depicted Sir Francis Bacon's cipher. She had a room dedicated to her daughter Annie, with her portrait and toys. She had a greenhouse where she grew exotic plants and flowers. She had a dairy where she made her own cheese and butter. She had a workshop where she experimented with inventions and innovations. Sarah Winchester lived a secluded and eccentric life in her house. She rarely entertained guests or left her property. She wore a black veil over her face whenever she went outside. She slept in different rooms every night to confuse the spirits. She had a bell tower that rang at midnight and at 2 a.m. to signal the beginning and end of each work shift. She paid her workers well and treated them kindly, but she also fired them without warning if they displeased her or disobeyed her orders. She was generous to charities and causes that she supported, such as education, animal welfare, and women's rights. She was also superstitious and paranoid, fearing that someone might harm her or steal her fortune. Sarah Winchester died in her sleep on September 5, 1922, at the age of 83. She left behind a will that was written in 13 sections and signed 13 times. She left most of her estate to her niece Marion Marriott, who inherited about $6 million, equivalent to about $90 million today, and sold most of Sarah's belongings at an auction. She also left $25,000, equivalent to about $375,000 today, to each of her favorite employees, and $500, equivalent to about $7,500 today, to each of her other employees. She did not mention the house or its contents in her will. The house was appraised at $5 million. Equivalent to about $75 million today, but sold for only $135,000, equivalent to about $2 million today, to John H. Brown, who opened it as a tourist attraction 9 months after Sarah's death. The house became known as the Winchester Mystery House. Part 3. The Legacy of the House. According to some sources, many visitors and staff have reported seeing, hearing, or feeling the presence of spirits in the house. Some of the most common sightings are Sarah Winchester herself, who has been seen in various rooms, especially her bedroom and the seance room. She is usually described as wearing a black dress and a veil over her face. She is sometimes seen carrying a lantern or a planchette. The wheelbarrow ghost, who is believed to be a former worker who died on the property. He is seen pushing a wheelbarrow full of coal or ashes in the basement or near the boiler room. He is sometimes heard whistling or humming. The dizzy ghost, who is thought to be a carpenter who fell from the roof and died. He is seen on the unfinished top floor, where he appears to be dizzy and disoriented. He sometimes tries to communicate with visitors or touch them. The gentleman ghost, who is speculated to be a former lover or admirer of Sarah Winchester. He is seen in the grand ballroom, where he wears a tuxedo and a top hat. He sometimes dances with female visitors or whispers compliments in their ears. The children ghosts, who are presumed to be the spirits of Sarah Winchester's daughter Annie and other children who died on the property or by the Winchester rifles. They are seen or heard in various rooms, especially the Daisy bedroom and the Hall of Fires. They sometimes play with toys, giggle, cry, or call for their mothers. These are just some of the ghost encounters that have been reported at Winchester Manor. There may be many more that have not been documented or verified. Some people believe that the house is indeed haunted by restless souls, while others think that the stories are exaggerated or fabricated. The Winchester Mystery House is a mansion in San Jose, California, that was once the personal residence of Sarah Winchester, the widow of firearms magnate William Wirt Winchester. The house became a tourist attraction 9 months after Winchester's death in 1922. The Victorian and Gothic-style mansion is renowned for its size and its architectural curiosities. It is sometimes claimed to be one of the most haunted places in the world, but there is no evidence to support this belief. The Winchester Mystery House attracts thousands of visitors every year, who come to marvel at its unique features and learn about its history and legends. The house offers various tours, such as the Mansion Tour, the Explore More Tour, the Behind the Scenes Tour, and the Walk with Spirits Tour. The house also hosts special events, such as Halloween Haunt, Candlelight Tours, Friday the 13th Flashlight Tours, and Valentine's Day Tours. The house has a gift shop, a cafe, a museum, and a shooting gallery. The house is also available for weddings, parties, corporate events, and film shoots. The Winchester Mystery House has been featured in many books, movies, TV shows, documentaries, podcasts, and video games. Some of the notable examples are the novel The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, which was inspired by the Winchester House and its owner. The novel was adapted into several films and a Netflix series. The film Winchester by Michael and Peter Spierig, which starred Helen Mirren as Sarah Winchester and depicted her as being haunted by the ghosts of those killed by the Winchester rifles. The TV show Ghost Adventures by Zach Baggins, which investigated the paranormal activity in the Winchester house and claimed to capture evidence of spirits. The documentary Ghosts of Winchester by John Brown, which explored the history and mystery of the Winchester house and its owner. The podcast Lore by Aaron Mankey, which narrated the story of Sarah Winchester and her house in an episode titled Black Stockings. The video game Assassin's Creed Syndicate by Ubisoft, which featured a side mission in which the player had to infiltrate the Winchester house and assassinate a Templar target. The Winchester Mystery House is a fascinating and intriguing place that reflects the life and legacy of Sarah Winchester. It is a testament to her creativity, eccentricity, generosity, and superstition. It is a monument to her love for her family, her passion for art and culture, and her fear of death and spirits. It is a mystery that invites curiosity, speculation, and imagination. And all that. It's the story right now. Thank you for joining us and listening. Please press subscribe, and press the notification bell. When there's something new, we'll come to sit around the circle and listen to each other again. For today, have a good day to you. See you then.